Hello students, this is the very fast lecture on chemistry CBSE class 10 syllabus. The first chapter that we are starting from is chemical reaction and equation. This is a small and easy chapter and I will complete the entire chapter. So before we start chemical reaction and equation chapter, first we have to understand some of the things which we have read in our earlier classes. Now what is a chemical reaction? You see, a number of reactions is taking place in and around us every day, which are chemical reaction. For example, we are taking the food, the digestion taking place in our body, we are cooking the food, that is a chemical change. The breakdown of the food is also a chemical change. We take in oxygen and we are respiring out carbon dioxide, that is a chemical change. The fruits getting fermented, that is a chemical change. So a number of chemical changes are going on around us in everyday life and we call it as chemical change. Now, why do we call it a chemical change? What is a chemical change? Suppose two substances react with each other to form a third substance. Suppose X reacts with Y to form a substance Z. Now, when X and Y react to form a compound Z, what happens is that this Z is such a compound form that this Z is entirely different both physically and chemically from this X and Y. So the new substance form is completely different in characteristic both physically and chemically than the substances which have taken part in the reaction. So whenever by any means we cannot get the original compounds from the compound formed after reaction, that we call a chemical change. Now this part, whichever that is taking part before reaction, that is taking part in the reaction, taking place in the reaction, that is we call reactant, and the compound formed after the reaction we call it a product. So we know the reactants combine together and form the product, and the reactants are kept in the left hand side and the products are kept in the right hand side. Now in a chemical change, some of the observations we see, as per your CBSE syllabus, they have said that if we can identify any of the four observations, like number 1, change of state, number 2, change of temperature, number 3, evolution of gas, and number 4 is change in color. So students, if any of these four phenomenon is happening in a reaction, we call it a chemical change. Now change of state, how change of state takes place? Whenever suppose two solids react to form a liquid or a gas, two gas react to form a solid, two liquids combine together to form a gas. So whenever this type of change of state in the reaction from solids to liquid to gas or from gas to liquid to solid takes place, we may call it a chemical reaction. Next is change of temperature. Now I will explain it in the latter part of this chapter about change of temperature. This happens between two reactions, that is exothermic change and endothermic change. That is, in some of the reaction heat is evolved, means heat is given out, or in some of the changes the heat is required. I will explain it later. Number 3 is evolution of a gas. Whenever we find that in a chemical reaction some gas is evolved, some gas is getting out, or we find the trace of some gas by the combination of two or more molecules, we call it a chemical reaction. And number 4 is change of color, because you know the new compound formed, that will be completely different from the original compound, so definitely there can be a change in color of the new compound. Now suppose I take an example. Suppose magnesium burns in oxygen to form magnesium oxide. This is a balanced chemical reaction. Now magnesium is a substance, this is a gas, this is a solid, we write S, this is a gas, we write G, and this is also a solid, we write S. And for liquid we write L. Now magnesium burns in oxygen to form magnesium oxide. This magnesium oxide is entirely different both from this oxygen and magnesium in terms of color, in terms of chemical properties, in terms of physical properties, everything. It is completely different. So we can say a chemical reaction has taken place. Now a very important thing that is, why do we write this equal to sign? Why do we write this equal to sign? Or why do we balance a chemical reaction? This is very important, because in your earlier classes you have learned law of conservation of mass. Now law of conservation of mass states that the mass before a chemical change will be exactly equal to the mass after the chemical change. Do you understand? That is, the amount of masses that are taking place before the change, before the chemical change, will be exactly equal to the masses after the chemical change. So what happens is that as these two will be equal, as per law of conservation of mass, we write an equal to sign to represent a chemical reaction. That is, maybe that the reactants and the products are different, but the masses or the atoms of the same will be entirely similar. I write a big equation, means a fairly big equation. Suppose iron reacts with water to form ferrosulfuric oxide and hydrogen. Now I try to balance it. This will be 3, this will be, this will be 3, and this will be 4, and this will be 4. So as per law of conservation of mass, since these two sides are equal, that is, the masses of the reactants and the masses of the products are same, we write a equal to sign. Now how do we balance it? We do it like this. Suppose iron, how many iron atoms are there in the left hand side? 3. In the right hand side has to be 3. Okay, then we come to hydrogen atom. How many hydrogen atoms are there? 4 into 2, 8. See, in the product side, 4 into 2, 8. Now we come to oxygen. How many oxygen are there in the left hand side? 4 into 1 is 4. This side also 4. So we say in the left hand side and the right hand side, all the atoms are exactly equal. So we give a equal to sign as per law of conservation of mass. Now I come to the types of chemical reaction. What are the types of chemical reaction? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As per your syllabus, there are 5 types of chemical reactions: combination reaction, decomposition reaction, displacement reaction, double displacement reaction and oxidation reaction. Now I will explain one by one. So the very first type of reaction is a combination reaction. What is a combination reaction? Whenever two or more reactants combine to form a single product, we call it a combination reaction. Now when I give you example, it will be clear to you. Suppose carbon burns in oxygen to form carbon dioxide. Suppose another example, quicklime calcium oxide combines in water to form calcium hydroxide. Suppose hydrogen and oxygen, both of them being gases, combine together to form water. Here two. Okay. So all these, in these three examples, you can see that two elements combine to form a single compound. So here we say combination reaction, that is the reactants are combining together to form a product which is a single compound. Now students, I will explain decomposition reaction. Decomposition reaction is exactly opposite to combination reaction. In combination reaction, what was happening? Two or more reactants to form a single product. Here the opposite, that is one reactant is breaking down to form two or more product. Suppose I take examples, we will understand. So calcium carbonate on heating breaks up into calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. Okay. Another example of decomposition reaction, lead nitrate, PbNO3 whole 2. It is also heated, form lead oxide, nitrogen dioxide and oxygen gas. Now balancing is 2, 2, 4. Suppose in this reaction what happens? Lead nitrate when heated, it forms lead oxide, nitrogen gas and oxygen gas. So a single compound on heating breaks up into three substances. Let me give you another example. I hope you have copied down all the things which I have written earlier. Next is ferrous sulfate solution, FeSO4. Again, when FeSO4 is heated, what happens? It forms Fe3O4 ferrosulfuric oxide, sulfur dioxide and sulfur trioxide. This forms this reaction. So in this reaction, Fe2O3, okay. So in this reaction, what happens? Ferrous sulfate when heated, it breaks down into oxide of iron, sulfur dioxide and sulfur trioxide. So I think with the help of these three chemical equation, we have already understood what is decomposition reaction. Now displacement reaction has to be understood with the help of some examples. Suppose iron reacts with copper sulfate solution to form FeSO4 plus copper. So what happens? Blue color of copper sulfate, this is blue in color, blue color of copper sulfate turns to brown. How? Because what happens in this reaction is that this iron, when combines with copper sulfate, it takes this radical of copper sulfate and combines with these two and displaces the copper like this. So whenever a substance reacts with a compound and displaces the radical and turns it to its metallic form, this is a displacement reaction. Another example I tell you. Another example. Zinc reacts with sulfuric acid to form zinc sulfate and hydrogen gas. Now in this reaction also you see what happens. This is metallic zinc, this is metallic zinc. This metallic zinc combines with this radical of H2SO4 and forms zinc sulfate over here. And also what happens, this zinc eliminates this hydrogen here. So it displaces, it reacts with this compound and displaces the positive radical to its elementary form. Okay. Again, lead reacts with CuCl2 to form PbCl2 and copper. Again the same thing, you can understand. This lead displaces the negative part, that is the chloride part, means it reacts with this CuCl2 and it combines, it takes this negative part from this part and forms PbCl2, lead chloride, and eliminates this copper to its elementary form. Okay. Double displacement reaction also we are trying to understand it with the help of a very common example. Suppose Na2SO4 sodium sulfate reacts with barium chloride to form sodium chloride and BaSO4. Okay, so in this reaction you see the exchange of group is taking place. In this reaction the exchange of group is taking place. That means see it will be 2. See what happens here. Sodium, it just exchanges the radical. Sodium takes this chlorine to form sodium chloride, and at the same time this positive part, the barium part, reacts with this part to form barium sulfate. Okay, so it exchanges the group. The sodium, the positive sodium radical takes the negative chlorine part, and the barium and the positive barium of this compound, barium chloride, takes this left out negative sulfate part and exchanges the group and forms two compounds. So this type of reaction is called double displacement reaction. Another thing you have to understand, this is a precipitate. We symbolize precipitate with a down mark arrow sign. What is a precipitate? Precipitate is a substance which is left behind and completely insoluble substance. So double displacement reaction, again I tell you what happens, it just exchanges the group of the individual compound. Now students, I will tell you what is endothermic change and what is exothermic change. You have already learned this in your previous classes. I will tell you in short. I have already explained in my previous part that a change which requires heat for its chemical reaction is called an endothermic change, and a chemical change where heat is evolved after the reaction is called a exothermic change. We can have an example. Suppose CaCO3, it requires heat to break into its constituent parts, that is CaO plus CO2. But at the same time, if we react calcium oxide means quicklime in water, you will find that calcium hydroxide is formed, and at the same time enormous amount of heat is evolved. So in this case, this reaction is an exothermic change because heat is evolved after the reaction, and this reaction is an endothermic change because heat is required for the chemical change to take place. Now oxidation reduction reaction. Now students, oxidation reduction reaction is determined with the help of oxidation number. It is a very big concept, but in your syllabus it is only stated that whenever in a reaction there is addition of oxygen, we call it an oxidation, and whenever there is a removal of oxygen, we call it a reduction. So I again repeat, whenever oxygen is added, it is oxidation, and whenever oxygen is removed, it is reduction. I give you one example. Suppose CuO plus, when hydrogen gas is passed over heated copper oxide, it forms Cu plus H2O. Okay. In this reaction, here what happens? Copper oxide is reduced to metallic copper. Why? Because of removal of oxygen. See, here there was oxygen, but here there is no oxygen. So it is reduced. It is reduced due to removal of oxygen. And again you see, hydrogen, what happened? Hydrogen is oxidized to water. How? Because it is oxidized due to addition of oxygen. So you have to only remember this type of reactions. Whenever an oxygen is added, it gets oxidized, and whenever oxygen is removed, it is getting reduced. Another example of oxidation reduction, that is zinc oxide plus copper. It forms carbon monoxide plus Zn. So in this reaction, carbon reacts with zinc oxide to form carbon monoxide and zinc. Here, where there is addition of oxygen, here we find that oxygen is added up. So it is oxidized because there is addition of oxygen, and zinc oxide is reduced to metallic zinc. Why? Because there is removal of oxygen. Now a very common question which is asked in exam, that is, why after whitewashing, after some time, the surface appears to be very shiny. Why it happens? Because whitewashing is done by calcium hydroxide, and calcium hydroxide reacts with the carbon dioxide present in the air to form calcium carbonate. I give you the reaction. This is calcium hydroxide. What happens is that whenever whitewashing is done and left exposed, it reacts with the carbon dioxide of the air and forms calcium carbonate plus water. Now this calcium carbonate is a very shiny surface. It gives a very shiny appearance or white appearance due to formation of this calcium carbonate, which is formed due to the formation of silicate lime, which is calcium hydroxide with carbon dioxide. And how calcium hydroxide is formed, I have already explained that it is formed by the action of calcium oxide quicklime with water, and that reaction was an exothermic change. Student, next is corrosion. What is corrosion? Now you know, when some metals are kept exposed to air, what happens? It loses its original property. Suppose iron, when kept exposed to oxygen and water for a long time, what happens? We find some rusts in the iron. Why it happens? Because iron reacts with air and water to form rust. The formula of rust is Fe2O3 and some water molecules are present with it. We determined as Fe2O3 dot XH2O. Another example of corrosion is copper. When left exposed to air, copper reacts with air, means the sulfur present in the